And we're back. I went through all 72 sections from the 42 Electronics, learned a robot sort of thing, and this is what I have to show for it. I would say that it was an extremely well laid out course. It really stair-stepped you through everything, and I highly recommend it. I'm even trying to get my sister to do it because she has no experience in coding, robots, or whatever, and I think it was that well done. So I really want her to give it a shot. The course started off fairly slowly, just explaining like general safety best practices when dealing with electronic components, and then explained how to use this. Ooh, a little bright. Anyway, it's what's called a breadboard, and all of these little rows and everything allow you to connect wires and pins to make circuits. So as you can see on the robot, there's a breadboard right here. It's just attached to this plastic plate. See, everything is connected to the breadboard, which is then connected to the Raspberry Pi. So the first physical, lesson, getting hands-on with everything, involved this. So as you can see, it's very simple. It just involves a battery, a resistor, and an LED to show you how electricity flows through one thing into the next. To expand upon that, they then did this circuit where you can see that there are parallel circuits. So it's the exact same thing as the first one, but just, multiples of it, just to show you that each of these circuits is kind of an individual circuit and they're all doing their own thing, even though they look like it's more complicated. Next, they tried to have you, do these all as one circuit, and the batteries just don't have enough power, so there's nothing to show, so sorry. The next thing that they had us do was create this push button switch kind of circuit. And so you can see it's a similar circuit, but it's got this now button on it. So when you press the button, it lights up. When you remove it, it turns off. So then what's the next thing to do? Build two separate circuits in parallel with a push button each. So now as you can see, if you push one button, it turns on one circuit. If you push the other, it turns on the other. You can push them both. They both turn on. It's just kind of, building the complexity. Anyway, you get the gist of how this process went. I'm not going to show you every little lesson that they have you do. If you're really interested, go check out 42 Electronics. I mean, I highly recommend the course. Not sponsored or anything, but I really enjoyed it. So, not everything you do is hands-on physical with it, because a robot is only as smart as its brain, which is the software that is running all of these components and telling them what to do with the information that they're receiving. So, intermixed within that, they also had things on just general Python development, working with Raspberry Pis, how to access it over the internet so you don't have to constantly be plugging into it, those kind of things. Additionally, they did some steps on web development, what I do for a day job, so I might have skipped over some of those sections. Shh. The other thing is they also did a lot with this right here. It's a camera, and then there's also a speaker. Nothing that I want to do involves audio or video at the moment. I'm sure I'll probably get there at some point, because you need a video camera to drive autonomously. It has to be able to pick up things on top of all the other sensors. But at the moment, it just doesn't really interest me, and it seems kind of gimmicky, so I just skipped over that part. And honestly, my ADHD kicked in, and I just wanted to get to the final robot, so I kind of just moved things along. So now let's get into what this thing can actually do. So it's got all these sensors underneath. It's got this camera, it's got these wheels, it's got the motors. It can do this. So as you can see, it's somewhat avoiding obstacles. Now you can see that I can remote control it through this web interface. So the Raspberry Pi is running a web server. You can press these buttons and it'll go forward, turn, left and right, go backwards, all those kind of things. If you followed the class step by step, you'll also be able to, play some noises, but I didn't really try, so I don't have that functionality. So I think the cool thing about how they approached the robot at the end, the kind of capstone of the whole course, is they had you assemble the robot piece by piece. It wasn't one just big assembly all at once. And every step, as you added a new component, you did a new test. You added a new functionality, you created a new program to test that. So technically speaking, this robot can do like 14 different things individually. And then of course, if you get to the, final step, it can do all of them somewhat combined. Like technically this should be able to send a video feed over the internet so I can watch it, but I didn't do that. So all that to say, step 1 of the robot journey is officially complete. I'm gonna go with the crawl, walk, run philosophy. I think that's gonna work best. And so here's the crawl step, very much a handheld kind of guided thing to learn all of it. And I think I had a decent amount of knowledge gained from it, so I'm very happy with it. I think the next step is just to go build some kit robots that maybe have some instructions, but they're not like step-by-step piecemeal. They kind of expect you to do a little bit, or they have functionality, but it's not like manipulatable. You can't go in and write the code to change it, so I'm going to try to break that, maybe go that approach. But remember, I want to build a robot that can drive, so kind of like this, but with more wheels, maybe on tracks so it can go over ground. I want to do it articulated, like robot hand. So I need to start going down those paths of figuring out how to use those sort of things and slowly build up my skills and start building new things on my own, from scratch, designing them, printing some parts, get that kind of stuff going. However, I was a little eager to try some new things, so I might have already bought some things, and they're kind of sitting right here waiting for me to get going. Check back for the next video to see what I've been getting up to. And thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you around the bend.